Alright, so today I've decided to do something different, and instead of walking up the Embarcadero, I walked the other way down to the dog patch towards Bayview. And just like yesterday, my videos keep getting interrupted by helicopters flying over me. And I hope that unlike yesterday, I won't have any technical issues with the damn YouTube app. Anyway, before I head off to the gym for today, I want to give a quick update on my experience with the ketogenic diet. And I want to preface all of this by saying that I'm coming from a very different place than almost everyone else who does the ketogenic diet, because keto is mostly used for weight loss or maybe for recomping for people who used to be overweight. And almost all of the advice you'll see on the ketogenic diet is kind of based on the assumption that you either are overweight or at least have a history of being overweight. And so a lot of it's really geared towards that kind of person, when I am the opposite. I was underweight for most of my life. I'm a classic hard gainer, and there's no big medical mystery there. Like I had some digestive issues, but ultimately, what it took for me to gain weight was just lift weights and push myself to eat more. So my biggest problem on the ketogenic diet has just been not eating enough. I initially was way under eating, which is why I kind of felt like shit. And now I've done better on that. I'm eating more, and as a result, my energy levels are great now. My libido is a bit better, both from eating more overall and from adding in Brazil nuts for the selenium, but it's still not where it was, before keto. And I'm sure I'm still under eating a bit. The problem is, you mainly need to get more fat, which I've been adding a lot more fat, more butter and coconut oil to my tea. And also drinking more tea of lower caffeine varieties so that I can drink more tea without having too much caffeine. And so I've just about got the fat content where it needs to be, except I think I'm sure I'm not eating enough protein, particularly given that I'm doing full body workouts every single day, which I'm still convinced there's nothing inherently wrong with doing that in conjunction with keto. There's nothing about the ketogenic diet that says you have to work out only 3 days a week, which most people do. You can split it out among 7 days a week. You just need to keep the intensity and volume from creeping too high. And I really have avoided overtraining. I'm still progressing. I have no symptoms of overtraining. But the under eating and subsequent, and as a result, I think low libido is still kind of tough. And the thing is, it's hard for me to eat enough fat and enough protein at the same time. And I think what I need to start doing really is making fat shakes. I've avoided shakes so far because it's hard to find a base to substitute for the milk. I can't find any sugar-free almond milk. There's low sugar, but not sugar-free. So I think what I probably have to use is coconut milk and hope that doesn't taste absolutely terrible. But I think if you have trouble eating enough on keto, that's kind of what you have to do, is make some kind of fat shake out of, sugar-free coconut milk or almond milk or something, with some protein powder and egg and a bunch of, almond butter or something like that to add fat. It would probably also have been easier if I had started this straight after finishing a bulking cycle, so that my body was used to eating more and my appetite was up. And then, as far as my results, other than, just the way I feel, and the sometimes feeling kind of worn down, but never quite overtraining, I do seem to be losing some fat. Even I've lost another ½ inch off my waist, even after adding in some strategic use of carbohydrates. And even after adding in creatine, I gained that ½ inch back. But, I'm sure when I cycle off the creatine, I'll be down at least another ½ inch from where I was a month ago, and more than a month into the ketogenic diet. It's hard to tell if I've gained any muscle. Again, partly because of the creatine and partly because muscle gain, I've known all along was going to be very slow on this diet and on a deficit. So I doubt if I've gained much muscle. Maybe a half a pound. I mean, my workout regimen is great, but my diet's not great for muscle gain. So body composition wise, it's going all right. My guess would be I've gained, quarter pound to a half a pound of muscle and lost not a lot of fat, but maybe a couple more pounds. But it's just, for a chronic undereater like me, the ketogenic diet makes it very difficult to eat enough. And to eat both enough protein and enough fat at the same time, particularly when you're working out this much. So I think, yeah, if you're in the same position I am, you're on keto, but you're a classic skinny guy, you need to find a way to make shakes work, even though you can't have milk. And shakes that are just made with water taste awful, which is why I haven't wanted to do that. So do that. And B, have a big breakfast. Like, I know for everyone else, I say have a healthy breakfast, but breakfast is important, and important does need to mean big. For an undereater on keto, actually, yeah, do go out of your way to make breakfast as big as you can, because what you want to do is get your digestive system working first thing in the morning, so that you'll be, it'll be stimulated to work throughout the day. Because when I combine ketogenic dieting with not even eating breakfast and just having like tea with butter and coconut oil for breakfast, then my appetite is suppressed and I can still get enough fat, but then the protein is never where I want it to be. So eat a giant breakfast first, then start adding in your bulletproof tea, I suppose. And I'll give another update on this in a couple weeks. But to sum it up, just results are good in terms of productivity, still not great in terms of libido, okay in terms of body comp, and it's just very, very hard for me to eat enough. But that's me. If you're not coming from the same place I am, if you're, either overweight or have been overweight in the past, the same things that make this problematic for me will probably make it a great diet for you. So I highly recommend, based on what I've experienced, I highly recommend keto for fat loss.